Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost. We begin with updates from the Israel-Hamas war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has laid out plans for a post-war Gaza. Netanyahu has said Israel has no intention of permanently occupying Gaza. He added that Gaza will be demilitarized once Israel's goals of eliminating Hamas and freeing hostages are achieved. Earlier this week, Israel said it is planning to draw down troops from North Gaza. This came amid increasing pressure from the West to scale down offensive in the Palestinian enclave. Tensions at the Israel-Lebanon border are expected to rise further. The Israeli military chief has asked soldiers to dismantle Lebanon. He said, and I quote, "There is no village in Lebanon that you cannot enter and dismantle." On Tuesday, Hezbollah attacked an Israeli army base in response to the killing of its commander. Fighting has escalated at the border in recent days, but both sides have been exchanging fire since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. The Israeli military said it had found evidence of hostages in an underground tunnel in Gaza's Khan Yunis city. The military showed a tin hut covering the tunnel's entrance in a residential yard. A makeshift ladder led to the narrow underground pathway about 2.5 meters below. However, the army did not say what exact evidence was found in the tunnel. Palestinian Red Crescent has said that 4 members of the group were killed in an Israeli strike. On Wednesday, an Israeli strike hit an ambulance near Deir al-Balah in the central Gaza Strip. Video showed PRC members in tears after seeing their colleagues lying lifeless on a hospital floor. America has said that US and British naval forces shot down 21 bomb-carrying drones and missiles fired by the Iran-backed Houthis. The projectiles were headed towards international shipping lanes in the southern Red Sea. Britain's defense minister said it was the largest attack in the area by the Houthis since November 19th. The UN Security Council has demanded Yemen's Houthis to immediately end attacks on the Red Sea. The members also called on the militants to release the Galaxy Leader, which was the first vessel they had seized. However, the Houthis have dismissed the US-led resolution. Instead, one of their leaders has accused the United States of violating international law. Meanwhile, Israel will appear before the International Court of Justice today. This is for hearings in a case filed by South Africa accusing the country of committing genocide in Gaza. The ICJ will hold sessions for 2 days. Israel has said it will appear before the court to quote-unquote dispel South Africa's absurd blood libel.
Also a distraction.
On to other top stories now. Ukrainian officials have said that 2 Russian missiles struck a hotel in Kharkiv city. The attack left at least 11 people injured. Footage shows the hotel windows blown out. Its balconies were also destroyed with large piles of rubble lying in the street below. The United States and 7 other nations have accused Russia for exploiting its position as a permanent member of the UN Security Council. They've accused Russia of violating international peace and security by acquiring North Korean missiles and firing them into Ukraine. Last week, White House said that Russia recently used ballistic missiles sourced from North Korea to conduct strikes against Ukrainian cities. The Ecuadorian army has arrested hundreds after they were deployed to restore law and order across the country. The armed forces arrested over 300 people labeled as terrorists. They added that 5 others were killed as a part of security operations. Ecuador has been witnessing a wave of violence over the past few days. This was after the Latin American nation's most wanted gangster disappeared from his prison cell on Sunday. 15 people have died in violent unrest in Papua New Guinea. Violence broke out in the capital city of Port Moresby and the second largest city of Lae. This was after peaceful demonstrations by police, defense and other public servants escalated into deadly riots. Hundreds flooded the streets and shops and businesses were burnt down. Footage shows fires and mass looting amid angry protests. Chinese President Xi Jinping met with Maldives President Mohamed Muizzu yesterday. This was after Muizzu's first state visit to China, where Xi referred to him as an old friend. Both the leaders agreed to strengthen the cooperation between the 2 countries. Xi said he backed increasing the number of direct flights between the two countries. The meeting came amid rising tensions between India and the Maldives. Over the weekend, tensions escalated after three ministers from Maldives posted derogatory remarks against Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on social media. Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong visited the Prime Minister of Malaysia Anwar Ibrahim. They attended the commemorative ceremony for the Johor Bahru Singapore Rapid Transit System Link project. The rail route will connect Malaysia and Singapore. After the ceremony, Anwar and Lee also signed a memorandum of understanding for the creation of special economic zones. On to climate news now. British scientists have confirmed that bird flu has infected the elephant seals, fur seals and Antarctic terns populations in the sub-Antarctic island of South Georgia. Samples from dead mammals and birds were collected, which tested positive for bird flu. This has alarmed conservationists as the disease has taken the life of millions of birds across the globe. The avian influenza was first detected in 2023 after brown squaw birds died in South Georgia. According to a US research firm, Rhodium Group, pollution caused by greenhouse gas emissions declined by nearly 2% in the US in 2023. But the decline rate is not fast enough to meet President Joe Biden's aim of cutting emissions half by 2030. Emissions in the United States are down 17.2% from 2005. The report states US is on track to cut greenhouse gas emissions about 40% below the 2005 levels by the end of the decade. Parts of Pennsylvania continued to receive more than 10 centimeters of rain due to the storm which battered parts of US with fierce winds and rain leading to flooding. Authorities warned people not to ignore emergency warnings as roads were damaged, trees fell and power lines were down. The firefighters rescued dozens of people from flooded and washed out roads. At least one person died and several others were injured in an avalanche near a ski resort in California. The incident happened near Lake Tahoe, which shares border with California and Nevada. The likely cause of the avalanche is the series of winter storms that have been passing through the region. Moscow's electoral region is facing heating outages and water leakages amid sub-zero temperatures. Authorities had arrested 3 people over heating outages on 9th of January. Moscow has been facing a harsh winter this season, with temperature in electoral reaching minus 11 degrees Celsius on Wednesday. According to a latest study published in a British magazine, rapidly melting snowpacks due to human-caused climate change are threatening the water supply of hundreds of millions of people. According to researchers, the reduced snowpack in the mountains has already affected 80% of the northern hemisphere population. Snowpack is the accumulated snow which melts in spring and becomes a vital reserve of fresh water. India's capital city of Delhi recorded its highest ever winter peak power demand at 5,611 megawatts yesterday. According to the data by the State Load Dispatch Centre, since 2024, Delhi's demand has increased by 8%. The city experienced a temperature of 7.1 degrees Celsius on Wednesday. Earlier, the IMD issued a cold day alert for northern states in India, including New Delhi. On to business and tech news. In a watershed moment, the US securities regulator has approved the first US-listed exchange-traded fund to track spot Bitcoin. The fund will track Bitcoin's spot price in real time. Until now, only futures-based Bitcoin ETFs have been available. The fund will give investors exposure to the world's largest cryptocurrency without directly holding it. Japan's benchmark stock index Nikkei reached its highest since February 1990 today. The Nikkei 225 share average was up 1.94%, going beyond 35,000 by the midday close. The index is on track for a third straight day of gains. It will close in on its largest weekly rise since March 2020. Argentina and the International Monetary Fund have finalized the details of the country's $44 billion loan program. The IMF has unlocked more than $4.7 billion to be dispersed under the program. This comes as Argentina's annual inflation is heading towards a whopping 200%. The country's net foreign currency reserves are also in the negative territory. German software company SAP has agreed to pay more than $2 million to US authorities. This is to resolve investigations into bribery schemes in 7 countries. SAP had been accused of conspiring to bribe government officials in countries including Indonesia and South Africa to win businesses. Tesla has rolled out the restyled version of its Model 3 compact sedan in North America. The launch comes after the vehicle attracted healthy demand in China and Europe. The North American launch will refresh Tesla's aging vehicle lineup in its biggest market. Microsoft may soon overtake Apple as the world's most valuable company. This comes in the wake of a recent dip in Apple's stock, which was fueled by concerns over diminishing iPhone sales. In 2024, Apple's shares have fallen by 4% so far. In contrast, share prices of Microsoft have risen by only 2% this year. In December last year, Apple's market capitalization peaked at $3.08 trillion. Meanwhile, as of November 2023, Microsoft stood right behind with a market cap of $2.84 trillion. Amazon will reportedly lay off several hundred employees in its streaming and studio operations. The layoffs will impact staff at Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios. The final announcement for the American region is likely to come as soon as the end of the day today. Meanwhile, for other regions, the announcement may come by the end of the week. Google is also laying off hundreds of its staff. The affected workers include those working on its voice-based Google Assistant and at the augmented reality hardware team. Positions in the company's central engineering organization will also likely be hit. This comes as the tech giant seeks to cut its costs amid stiff competition in its search business. Google has been competing with artificial intelligence offerings by Microsoft and ChatGPT creator OpenAI. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman will reportedly meet US House Speaker Mike Johnson today. The agenda for their meeting is not known. However, this comes as US lawmakers are looking to introduce rules to govern the AI sector. Meanwhile, OpenAI is also in talks with media firms like CNN, Time and Fox. The AI startup is looking to license their articles to train its viral chatbot, ChatGPT. This comes as OpenAI faces multiple lawsuits accusing it of using copyrighted works to train its AI products. Moving on to sports now, and let's start with cricket. India is hosting Afghanistan for a 3-match T20 international series. Batter Virat Kohli will not be available for the first match due to personal reasons. Indian veterans Mohammad Shami and KL Rahul have been rested for the series. The first match will be played today in the Indian city of Mohali. New Zealand will host Pakistan for 5 T20 matches. Captain Kane Williamson has returned to the Black Cap squad. Batter Rachin Ravindra has been rested for the series. Pakistan have just completed a test tour of Australia and they're looking to bounce back after suffering a 3-0 washdown under. The first T20 between New Zealand and Pakistan begins on Friday. In football, Liverpool fought back to beat Fulham 2-1 in the first leg of their EFL Cup semi-final. Willian opened the scoring charts with a goal in the 19th minute for Fulham. In the second half, Liverpool equalised on a goal from Curtis Jones in the 68th. Just 3 minutes later, the Reds scored again on a strike from Cody Gakpo. Now Liverpool have 1 goal lead and face Fulham again on the 25th of January. Lazio beat AS Roma 1-0 to qualify for the Coppa Italia semi-final. The game was scoreless in the first half. In the 51st minute, Mattia Zaccagni scored the only goal of the match. Lazio will now face Inter Milan on January 20th. Real Madrid beat Atletico Madrid 5-3 in the Spanish Super Cup semi-final last night. The game was tied 2-2 at half-time. In the second half, Real fired 3 goals with 2 of them coming in injury time. Real Madrid will now face either Barcelona or Osasuna in the finals. Centre forward Antoine Griezmann became all-time top scorer for Atletico Madrid last night. Griezmann scored 1 goal for Atletico as they beat Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup semi-final. The Frenchman has now scored 174 goals for Atletico. Just this season, Griezmann has scored 17 goals in the 27 matches he's played. In badminton, Indian men's duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty won at the Malaysia Open. The tournament is being played in the Kuala Lumpur city. Rankireddy and Shetty beat their Indonesian counterparts 21-18, 21-15 in straight sets to advance to the round of 16. Meanwhile, the Indian women's duo of Ashwini Ponnappa and Tanisha Castro also advanced at the Malaysia Open. Ponnappa and Castro beat their Japanese counterparts 21-19 in the first set. Then the Japanese rallied back to win the next set 12-13. In the decider set, the Indian duo dug deep to win 21-15. Ponnappa and Castro will now play their quarter-final match tomorrow. In basketball, the NBA is all set to host some matches in Paris this week. The Brooklyn Nets and Cleveland Cavaliers will face each other in the French capital. At least 15,000 fans will be attending the regular season match. Normally, the NBA hosts its match in US or Canada. With the sport gaining popularity in Europe, this will be the third time that the NBA game is played in France. Former French basketball player Émilie Gomis has been stripped of her role as Olympics ambassador. This comes as a social media post regarding the Israel-Hamas war went viral. After Hamas's terrorist attack on Israel in October last year, Gomis has shared a post showing France being covered with the flag of Israel with the caption saying, "What would you do in this situation?" The Olympics General Assembly says Gomis can no longer be an ambassador for Paris 2024 because she has violated the clause of neutrality. On to entertainment news now. The nominees for the 30th Annual Screen Guilds Awards were announced yesterday. Films like Barbie, The Color Purple, Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon have been nominated. In TV shows, The Last of Us, The Gilded Age and The Crown are in the race. Actors Jennifer Aniston, Margot Robbie, Cillian Murphy and Bradley Cooper have been nominated. The ceremony is scheduled to happen on the 24th of February in Los Angeles. The organizers of the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards have released a list of a star-studded group of presenters. Among the few are actors Pedro Pascal, Jenna Ortega and late-night show host Stephen Colbert. The 75th Primetime Emmy Awards will take place on the 15th of January at the Peacock Theatre in downtown Los Angeles. Actors Angela Bassett and Mel Brooks received the honorary Oscars at the Governor's Awards. During her acceptance speech, Bassett said that she hopes the film industry provides more opportunities to people of color. Along with Bassett and Brooks, film editor Carol Littleton and film executive Michelle Satter were also felicitated. Actor Keanu Reeves is exploring other arenas by turning into a novel writer. He announced on a talk show that his novel, The Book of Elsewhere, will release this summer. The book follows the story of an immortal warrior who wants to understand the curse of an eternal life. Singer and actor Selena Gomez will portray Linda Ronstadt in an upcoming biopic. Gomez teased her role by posting a picture of Ronstadt's memoir on her social media. The biopic is currently in its pre-production phase. American singer Linda Ronstadt is often called as the First Lady of Rock. According to reports, a new Star Trek film is in the making with director and scriptwriter on board. The new story is set years before the Star Trek movie from 2009. The latest project will look to expand the Star Trek universe. The fourth film is being hailed as the final chapter of the series. Television channel Max has cancelled the series Julia after 2 seasons. The period drama series debuted in March, followed by the second season in November last year. The story revolves around chef Julia Child, who introduced French food to American people through her cookbook. According to reports, sources close to late actor Matthew Perry claim that he allegedly physically assaulted several women in his life. One of the victims was his ex-fiancée Molly Hurwitz, whom Perry reportedly hit with a coffee table in 2021. In March 2022, he allegedly shoved his live-in partner Morgan Moses into a wall. Friends actor Matthew Perry died in 2023 due to an overdose of ketamine. Law and Order actor Mariska Hargitay revealed about being raped in her 30s by a friend. She wrote in a magazine that she completely removed the narrative from her story so that she could survive. Hargitay further recalled going into a freeze mode when the incident happened in order to avoid physical violence. Actor Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet are wasting no time to settle their divorce. According to reports, the former couple reached a conclusion a day after Bonet filed her petition. They've agreed to share the custody of their 2 children. Both actors have also waived their spousal support rights. The former couple announced their separation last year.